So now Bob Holness is holding court with the Rowdies.
Hello again and welcome to Bluff or Not to Bluff. That is the question. What about the answers? Well, I don't know any of them, but I know a lady who's acquainted with at least 50%. Team leader, Sandy Toxley.
Thank you, Bob.
Go on, Gil.
The good thing about my first guest is that if we lose, she can get away quickly. But the fact is she's used to winning a silver medalist in the 10,000 metres at the recent World Athletics Championships in Seville. Would you please welcome Paula Radcliffe?
Yes. Perfectly all right.
Now then, the good thing about my other guest... Oh, hang on, there must be something. Oh, yes, he's funny. He's been funny for over 35 years. He's a proper star. Would you welcome, please, Roy Hudd?
There you go. How nice. Nicest thing she's ever said. And leading our other team, taking arms against a sea of trouble, the intrepid Alan Corran.
Thank you, Bob. Hello. My first guest is perfect to call my bluff. She is a mistress of disguise, and disguise a lucky man in my view. People stop her in the street and say, "Oh, I know you, you're Rosa from Walford." But Walford doesn't exist, nor does Rosa, except in the brilliant impersonation of Louise Jameson. No less perfect to call my bluff is my second guest. He takes his own scalpel to the spin doctors of the day and exposes them for the quacks they are. He is the BBC's chief political correspondent. He is, of course, John Sargent.
The rules? Why not? Sandy's team are going to begin by defining a word 3 different ways. Now, only one of those definitions is true. Alan and his team, of course, will try to work out which it is. The first word today, defussed, goes to Sandy.
Yes, I think it will surprise no one who knows me to learn that I recently took part in the time trials for the Olympics. And this was partly thanks to my extraordinary level of personal fitness and the fiver I paid to Paula earlier. And I'm part of, I think, rather successful 2-person synchronised swimming team with Ronnie Corbett. And we look fabulous. Let me tell you, we have matching swimsuits. You'll love this, Louise. We have matching swimsuits with those spangly swim caps with little flowers on, and a routine that, frankly, is going to keep the Titanic afloat. It's fabulous. It's a fabulous thing. Anyway, we're at the time trials, and you know, you get tense, don't you, Paula?
Yes,
you know, share this, yeah. And we were waiting for the results, and this Russian girl came up to me, and she, you know, I said to her, I thought we'd won, and she said, no, she was the first. And I insisted that we had won, but the fact it turned out she was right. She had been defussed. Someone had beaten her over the head with a baton from the 4x4 relay, and it means to beat or to cudgel, and it's not very pleasant, not very sporting, frankly.
No, obviously not. Thank you. Paula.
Defussed. Now, at various times in history, alcohol, certain books, riding bicycles on the pavement, being a woman in the members' enclosure at Lord's Cricket Ground have all been defussed. There are even instances, I believe, when it's been defussed to hang your washing out at certain days of the week. So actually, defussed would have been used on notices about 500 years ago. Nowadays, then afterwards you would use forbidden or prohibited, or we might even just say no, no cycling, no running, no jokes. Forbidden, banned or prohibited, defussed.
Thank you, Paula. Roy.
Well, she's been looking over all my stuff, Sandy Toxley. The first time I was on this show,
Yeah.
things were very different than the way they are now. Alan Corran had dandruff in those days, instead of the odd French polish he has today. Now, of course, he's so smug these days, folks, because since his head has become a site for manoeuvres for blue bottles, he thinks he'll no longer get dandruff, but this isn't true, you know, Alan, because dandruff has nothing to do with having hair. And I quote this, it's horrible. It's seborrheic dermatitis. it is, and it's tiny pieces of scaly or flaky skin that are in the process of defusting, dropping off, rather as you're all doing now. Defust is to shed skin from the scalp.
Ask yourself, is it to cudgel or to beat? Is it a very old word for prohibited, forbidden, banned? Or is it to have dandruff, to shed flaky skin from the scalp? It's defust. Alan?
Et tu, Hud. You can't even leave the bonks alone. How horrible. So it's to desquamate, to shed skin from the top of the head. Dandruff, pilot of the future. You should not. I'll do the dandruff, dandare joke again in a minute if you don't stop, Mum. Now, Paula, prohibited and forbidden. I sort of quite like that defust up on the side. Please do not take towels to beach and oblige. Do not leave your crabs in the bath. Defust. All those things on the back of hotel doors. I don't know about. Now, Sandy, I got captivated by this idea of synchronised dancing between you and Ronnie Corbett. Only time they ever had synchronised dancing in the shallow end of a pool. I really am very taken with it. It means to hit over the head with a cudgel. Give us a cudgel. I don't know. I think it might be that... I thought I knew everything there was to know about stuff that fell off your head. And you took home in a cardboard box from the barber's and glued back on. Defust. I think it might be desquamate. I think I should go for Mr. Hud.
Right, Roy, your card.
No.
No,
Oh,
it's not.
Not even knowing about my hair.
No.
One of the two ladies on the team. Who is it?
Oh, is it? Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well done. To beat or to cudgel, defust. Takes us on to Tekon and Alan.
Yes, Tekon. Now, regular viewers of Call My Bluff will remember, how could you forget him? Brian Blessed, the actor, mountaineer, and one-man thunderstorm, who came on to his show and everything fell off and people's false teeth broke out in the audience, because when he laughs, and when he roars, he roars. And he said on one of these shows that he was, he told us personally, he said it on television all the time, that he is booked aboard a space shuttle for the year 2002. They're going to strap him aboard and fire him into outer space on the Columbia Space Shuttle. This seems to be extraordinarily dangerous, and I worry for him. I worry for everybody who's got to be on that shuttle. I mean, not because of the risks of interplanetary flight, not because of the risk of meteorites, not because of the risk of running into the Daleks, which one gave Louise such trouble all those years ago in Doctor Who, but because Blessed's going to get excited. He'll take his straps off after they're in orbit. He'll look out of the porthole and go, oh, it's the Earth. And all the tiles will fall off the shuttle, because, you know, the space shuttle is just covered in those tiles. It loses them occasionally on re-entry. With Blessed out there and thundering, they will all come off because they're only stuck on with T-Con. It is the adhesive which adheres tiles to spacecraft.
Thank you, Alan. Louise.
To tack on or not to tack on, to continue in the manner with which we started, is the great British dilemma. Do you tip your fascist taxi driver, even though he has got you through the rush hour to the place on time, although he's upset you politically? Do you tip in a restaurant when the food is awful, but the waitress is obviously an impoverished student, probably living off the tips only, and has been utterly charming throughout the entire meal? And you tip with a tack-on. It is a gratuity.
Right. John.
T-Con. It's a fishing term, and people think of fishing as a peaceful sport. You see a fisherman from a distance and you think, oh, how peaceful. But if you're him, you think it's dramatic and it's exciting. So the only peaceful thing about fishing is reading about fishing. And the most famous book about fishing is called The Complete Angler. I've said it properly because it's C-O-M-P-L-E-A-T. Why it's called complete, I don't know, because the guy's a complete fool, or is there a pleat in his socks? I don't know. Anyway, Complete Angler is what it's about. It was written by a man called Isaac Walton, and in this book he talks about the different types of salmon. You thought there was only one salmon, but he said there are different kinds of salmon, namely a T-Con sort of salmon.
Ooh. So, it's an adhesive used for space shuttle tiles? Or is it a tip or gratuity? Or maybe a kind of salmon? Tecon or Tecon? Take your pick. Sandy.
I was just thinking, Ellen, they made a documentary, didn't they, in which Brian Blessed climbed Everest. I think there's a documentary in which the midget people of Uzbekistan climb Brian Blessed. I think that would be easily an hour's entertainment. Very jolly. See, I think you're getting confused here because Teflon is the what's on the front of the spacecraft.
No, Teflon's the metal.
Yes,
It's down our frying pan.
I can't believe they then thought, I know, we'll call the glue Tech on. I just think that seems silly.
I'd never thought of that.
No,
It never
no,
crossed
so
my
it's probably
mind.
that, indeed. I move on to Louise. Tipping. I find it very, very difficult, and I've got a slight remedy for this. You know in ice skating, people hold up, they don't say anything to the judges, they just hold up those cards that go 6, 4.4. And I think it'd be fab in a restaurant if you didn't have to speak, and the waiter comes over and they say, how's your meal? And you just go 4.4, like that. And you just, don't you think?
Nil point.
Nil point. And they know, no tip happening because you're just not giving it enough. So I quite like this, but I'm drawn to the fishiness of John. There's not many people say that. I think it's a sort of, I don't know why, I think it's a sort of salmon. I like this very much. I like your peaceful salmon.
John, produce your card.
Wow.
It's
You
spooky.
could
It's
possibly be right.
Oh, very good. A kind of salmon it was, Tecon or Tecon, and we pass on to Hushta. Paula, it's yours.
Hushta. Now this one's quite strange, but honestly, it's true because I know one very fast Hushta. Because a Hushta is a nickname for somebody who lives up in Indiana in the USA. It's a very rural state, right up above Chicago. And one possible reason for why they're called Hushtas is given in Bill Bryson's book, A Walk in the Woods, which explains the character, explores the character of people living in the Appalachian Mountains, right up on the eastern border of Indiana. And these are very rural people, very untouched by society in general in the US. They still brew liquor in illicit stills, and they prefer each other's company to that of outsiders. And so the nickname given to these people living far out into the hills is a Hushta.
Thank you, Paula. Roy.
Can you do George Formby, Roy? Yes, of course I can. With me little ukulele in me hand. At least you see the people don't understand. They say, why don't you be a scout? Why don't you read a book? But I get much more pleasure when I'm playing on me uke. Of course I take no notice, you can tell. For mother's fond advice will always stand. She said, my boy, do what I say, and you'll never go astray if you keep your ukulele in your hand. Oh, baby, keep your ukulele in your hand. No, I don't do George Formby.
Good, yeah.
No, I don't do George Formby, no, but that was it was a big success in Blackpool, but not such a big success, that song, in India, because they did try and actually move it to India. And there was an Indian lookalike, Formby lookalike, Ram Jam Wigan, you know, and he did do a version of it, which went rather like, I have to read this because I'm translating it from the Indian as I go along, you see. With me funny little hooster in me hand, I went and joined old Ravi Shankar's band. The lady swooned when he propped up his sitar on his knee. My hooster, though not quite as big, was big enough for me. Now, whether he graduated to a sitar or not, we'll never know, because a hooster is a very simplified form of sitar. Now, sitar, I play the ukulele a bit, and the sitar is beyond my comprehension. There's so many wires and so many drones in it, but a hooster is a much simplified version. You know when they used to have harmonica bands, one would play the melody and one would just sort of play the chords at the back. That's a hooster.
Whew. Thank you,
I'm
Roy.
glad that's over, aren't you, Bob?
Sandy.
Very
okay.
annoying.
I think it's fair to say there can be nothing more beady-eyed than a camel who's got the hump. And they are tricky creatures, and you need to know how to deal with them properly. And the word hushka is completely critical. It is the equivalent of giddy up for a camel, okay? There would be no point in saying giddy up to a camel because it frankly wouldn't understand you at all. But if you said hushka, the camel would be off across the Sahara like Anne Widdecombe chasing a hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? Confusingly, the word can also mean just camel. And if you want to say, look at that camel, don't say it too loud because the camel, it'll be off like that before you can say, heavens, there's a lot of sand around here.
Thank you. Right. So is it a nickname for a native of Indiana living in the hills? Is it a very simplified form of sitar, or is it a shout of encouragement similar to giddy up for a camel? Hushtar. John.
Right. Well, I wasn't, I must say, terribly impressed by Paula, but she looks very convincing. Gosh, it might be possible, but I don't think so. Indiana, no, doesn't quite work for me. Roy, wonderful. George Formby, you know. I mean, had it been Formby instead of Hushtar, I mean, we'd have been there, wouldn't we? I think it's going to be Sandy, so I'll settle for Sandy and Sandy and the camel.
Settling for you, Sam?
Yes.
Right. Spot on. Shout of encouragement for a camel, bringing the score to 2 to Sandy's team, 1 to Alan's. Creator's the next one. It goes to Louise.
Creator. If you go out into your garden on a full moon, you should be able to see approximately 3 million creators, which is what the lunar scientist tells us is the number of craters on the moon. It's a very, very old-fashioned word, which is crater is derived from, and it comes from the Greek meaning bowl or basin.
Thank you. John.
People think that journalists are nosy, and so they jolly well should be. It's what sells newspapers, and it's one of those vices that people say they deplore, but actually they rather like. So when someone says, "Oh, you are a gossip," they mean, "Go on, tell me what really happened." Now, in Old Scottish or Gaelic, they had a word for it, a much nicer word than gossip or nosy Parker, and that is craigta. And they would say, "Oh, go on, you craigta, tell us a bit more." Craigta means a nosy Parker.
Thank you, John. Alan.
Hey, Bob, right, now a bit of culture. The curfew. As you will have heard, the curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Lowing herd winds slowly o'er the lea. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way and leaves the world to darkness and to me. Never mind, Ronnie Corbett, you and I could do synchronised poetry. Now, it's a strange scene that. There's Thomas Gray sitting in the churchyard. There's just him and the ploughman. Why is not the herdsman plodding home his weary way as the herd's going by? It's because the herdsman has no home to plod to. He doesn't have a little thatched hut. He doesn't have a buxom country wife with a nice piece of gammon waiting. Candle in the window. He doesn't have anything. He's just got the herd. And after the herd has finished lowing and lain down for a bit of a kip, the herdsman will just lie down beside them, cover himself in his blanket, eat a few berries, dead rabbit, anything lying about, and go to sleep on his own because he's a nomadic herdsman. He's a creachta. He wanders with the herd.
Thank you, Alan. It's a bowl or basin, a crater, possibly on the moon. It's a gossip, a nosy Parker. Or it's a nomadic herdsman. It's either creator or creachta. Paula, it's yours.
Really haven't got a clue on this one. If there's 3 million creators on the moon, I think would have heard of the word before, but I'm not really sure there. Doesn't really sound too Greek either, creator. But journalists are definitely nosy. And creators are nosy Parker. Never heard one called an creator. Curfew, nomadic.
Go for one,
I think
Paula.
I'll go with the nomadic herdsman.
Right, it's you, Alan.
Well, I'd love to hear you go with a nomadic herdsman, especially as it's right.
Nomadic herdsman, creator. After a great deal of deliberation, and on we go to Wormstall with Roy. The mind boggles.
Now this, interestingly enough, Alan did that long, boring poem just now about the thing. It's sort of, it's in a way, it's a bit like it actually, because it's about cows, actually, this Wormstall. It concerns cows. Now, during the war, I was evacuated
sorry to hear
from
that.
London. Yes, but it's healed up quite nicely since, you know. And, well, I was evacuated. We didn't know what the Kaiser was going to throw at London next, did we, you know? So that was during the war, and I was evacuated to a little village called Maidford, which is near Northampton, and learned all sorts of country law there. Now, he also learned to do the weather forecast by watching animals, right? And it's one of the most famous things. They always said, you know, when a cow lay down in the field, you know, if it wasn't someone you knew, it was usually designated that it was going to rain, wasn't it? You know, rain, because apparently what they used to lie down for was so that the grass would be dry underneath them. And if there was a storm came along, they'd have dry food to eat, you see. So they get up. But no one worried about the poor old cow getting wet, you see. And in the summer, cows are let out in the fields. They're not put away. They put away in the winter, you know, put them into stalls and things like that. But in the summer, they don't. And they have it like a temporary shelter for cows in the summer, and it's called a worm stall. So it looks a bit like a sort of a, you know, a stall.
Yeah, well, thank you, Roy.
That's
Sandy.
a pleasure, Bob.
I don't think there's anybody here today who can be described as a worm stall. John, for example, distinguished journalist. Louise, fabulous actress. Paula, credible runner. Roy, sitting on my left. And everyone has reached a certain achievement in life. I'm leaving you out of this, Alan, in deference to the fact that it's National Hairdressing Week. And I don't think there's anybody at this time, I think we'd all agree, who's going to achieve more than our distinguished chairman. I mean, he's a man that is so revered that when he walks down any high street, coloured jackets throw themselves from gentlemen outfitters just to be allowed to rest on his back. And Bob is not a wormstall.
Oh, good.
It is a 17th century word for an insignificant person. It is a useless person. It is, for example, a vegan in an abattoir. It is, it's Alan in a nudist colony. Actually, that's not a useless person. That's just something I like to think about.
Right, Sandy? Paula.
I like this one. A worm stall. Well, a worm is a common name for the long-bodied, legless invertebrate animals, which I used to like picking up as a kid and throwing at my brother because he really didn't like them. But a worm stall is the convoluted mass of earth left behind by the worm as it burrows down into the earth. So, like on a wet sand on the beach, you would really see it. And it's this pile that it throws back out behind it, and that's called the worm stall.
Well, what a trio. It's a temporary shelter for cattle in warm weather. It's a 17th century word for an insignificant person. Or it's a mass of earth left by an earthworm. It's a worm stall, and it's all Louise's.
Why, if it looks after cows, is it called a worm stall? Why isn't it called a cow stall? I think I'm...
No, it's called a worm stall. That is the official thing for it, isn't it?
So you say.
Well,
Yes, that's right.
I think it would be called cow stall. So I'm not going with Roy. I think how can someone so innocent do something so horrid to their brother as a child? Worm stall, worm stool, worm throwing out behind. I think not. I think I'm going to go with insignificant person, and I'm crossing my
I think she
toes
means
on
you,
my
Sandy.
finger. No, not in the slightest. Did I
Let's
mean
sit down. Louise and I are friends, and she's wrong.
But which one would she have been right with? Let's find out. Ah, there you are. Temporary shelter for cattle in warm weather. That was worm stall. On we go rapidly to Sabura, and it's John's.
Well, it puts me in some difficulty because people are watching this programme when they're eating, and should I ruin their meal?
Go on.
Yes.
Treat
The
yourself.
answer is yes, carry on. It is a pretty grim description, so I'll get to it pretty quickly, all right? I won't go into all the bits and pieces about the Complaints Commission. It's not my fault. I was forced to do this. I was forced to say it, right? You ready for it? Sabura is foul, granulated matter deposited in your stomach.
Oh, thank you, John. That's lovely. Right.
See? Yeah, I've said it quickly.
There's something a bit different about Italian cavalry officers. They're not like the big, butch, hearty British cavalry officer, given to throwing bread rolls about and knocking around with the likes of, I don't know, Tara Palmer, Tompkinson or It Girls. They're not like that, the Italians. They're slim and snake-hipped. They wear green velvet uniforms and plumed hats, epaulets with little rhinestones on. There's something, yes, you're pursing your lips. You're very stereotypical, because they could give an impression of being a little bit effeminate. Partly because they also carry handbags, or rather they wear on an orange sash over one shoulder, and depending which side they want to hang it, if they're dressing to the left, they're carrying a satchel. It's very ornate, it's It's very leather worked. I don't know whether they've got ammunition in it or a thing for sharpening sabres or simply mascara and blusher.
Yeah.
But it is called a sabura. It's an Italian cavalry officer's satchel.
Handbag.
Fine. Louise?
Utah, Arizona, this is the place to find the sabura. It's also the place to find red rock monoliths, the most beautiful tall red rocks, which is where the sabura live. They come out at sunset when the sky turns to red. They're a red rodent and they jump from monolith to monolith. We're giving the appearance of flying because they're a rodent that actually has they have webbed feet, and they means they can leap great distances.
Fine. So, it's foul granulated matter deposited in your stomach, or it's an ornate leather satchel worn by Italian cavalry officers, or it's a webbed rodent that gives the appearance of flying. Sabura is Roy.
Right, the Italian, very attractive description of Italian cavalry officers there. I enjoyed that very much. I don't think it's right. Sabura comes out at night. You say they come out at
Sabura,
night.
yes.
Sabura, yeah. Well, so do Italian cavalry officers. But they always go backwards. I think I'm going to go for the foul granulated matter in old John O's guts over there.
John, produce the card.
How does he do it?
I'm sorry about this if you happen to be eating, but it is foul granulated matter deposited in your stomach. It's Sabura. Now let's break all records for a fast one as we get to this one. It's Planeticos, and it goes to Sandy first.
Yes, it's planeticose, and it's a knitted thing for keeping teapots warm on Italian aeroplanes.
For Italian cavalry officers.
I have failed to be planeticose, and it means to be plain or coherent.
Thank you. Paula?
Planeticose. It's actually a flat, even surface or level ground, for example, on a golf green or on a bowling green.
Right. And Roy?
I was born under a Planetico star. Doesn't sound quite the same, but it means exactly the same. Planeticos means a tendency to wander.
That's it. Fine. Plain or coherent, a flat, even surface or level ground, like a bowling green, or tendency to wander. Planeticos is Alan's. Quick.
Who cares? We're down the drain at 5-1.
Who are you going to say?
I'm going to say HUD.
Right, Roy?
Good on you, kid.
Absolutely right. So, a tendency to wander, that's Roy Hudd with Planeticos. That brings the score to 5 to Sandy's team and 2 to Alan. And high time we say goodbye to Paula Radcliffe, Sandy Toksvig, Roy Hudd, Louise Jameson, Alan Corran, John Sargent, and myself. Till next we meet, goodbye.
3 more contestants get wise with words, Vanessa Feltz and quotation marks in a few moments here on BBC One.
Being cute and cuddly isn't always fun.
Sheep have an inherent death wish.
Having a big mouth can give the wrong impression.
Looking down and seeing like a 7-foot Caribbean reef shark with its jaws sort of clamped around your hand, it's superb.
But help is at hand.
At best, we're going to actually remove a lot of his discomfort.
Sometimes it's hard to be an animal.
We do what we can and, let nature do all the rest. Come on, don't give up on us.
Vets in Practice continues tonight at 8:30 on BBC One. If you want to keep your kids entertained this summer, get to know Dynamo. On TV and online, he can help make learning fun. TV programmes are on Saturdays and Sundays on BBC Two. Log on to bbc.co.uk/education for more details.